Hussbus bus stop. Good morning, everybody. JP Hussey here of the Hussey Team Mortgage Advisors with this week's Hussbus bus stop. I am out here in the woods of Texas. I think something just bit my leg. I'm watching out for the rattlers. Last night we saw a centipede that was literally this big, this thick, with all the little legs and everything. Texas nights, baby. Telling you, stuff comes out in Texas, but I love it. Love it out here. I love the people. Beautiful right now. Texas morning in the woods. But anyway, next thing. This is a Larry Bird jersey. I'm not a Celtics fan, but I am a Larry Bird fan, so I just want to clear that up. Anyway, today I want to talk about appraisals and appraisers. It's a hot topic in our industry right now, right? There's so much volume and not that many appraisers, right, to do it. Typical supply and demand, which I'll talk about in a minute. But I want to put it into perspective a little bit. So back pre-2009, 2008, I'm not exactly sure when this all changed, but it was because of this. But back then, if you were getting an appraisal done, right, a mortgage broker, lender, whoever it is, someone that has a relationship with an appraiser, let's say it was me, can be like, hey, can you go get this house appraised for me? I need this value, right? Here's a couple bucks, whatever it is, right? You get that value, and you would assume the value is going to be higher, right? If you're asking someone for a value, I need this done by this time, I need this value, right? So you can see how that could be messed up, right? Could mess up. And that was a big part of the crash back in the day, is because we're getting these high values, right? And then there was really bad loans, right? High values, bad loans where people can't afford it. They're getting too much house. The value's up, crash, right? That was a huge part of it. And that's why there was a lot of foreclosures, right? There was just a lot of bad appraisals and people that couldn't afford the loans they were getting before these high appraisals, all right? In a very simple world, all right? So that happened back then. So because of that, all right, and I always like to say the pendulum really swings to the other side and we have to find some balance, but it was swung all the way to the other side, right? So now, in most situations here, you have AMCs, right, who are the middle person between the lender and then the client, right, to keep everybody in check so the appraiser's not coerced, all right, called AMCs, Appraisal Management Companies, all right? So they're in the middle, all right? So if you're going to buy a house or if you're trying to refinance, we have to order the appraisal on our side, okay, to an appraisal management company who then sends the client a link to pay for it, and they help find there's appraisers out there, AMCs, put it out there, and these appraisers bid on if they want the appraisal or not, all right? So it's a random drawing, a random pick of this appraiser. So then there's no funny business, right? Now, so then they go and they talk to the listing agent, they might talk to the client, they're setting up a time to look at the value, go appraise and inspect this house, okay? So that's how it's done nowadays. But when there is a middle party, there's always some confusion there. There's always some more time, right, that goes into it, right? So right now, with all of the volume, and there's not a lot of appraisers out there with an AMC in the mix there trying to find them, there's going to be some delays, right? And I would say, depending on the area you're in your state, okay, what county or whatever it is, right, there still has to be physical human beings appraising, right? So all around the country, turn times are different wherever you go. For instance, we just had to get an appraisal done quick. We ordered it as a rush. So there's an extra rush fee there to the client. It was like another $150. They paid for that. They're thinking rush is going to be like 1 or 2 days. We're not exactly sure the time, the turn times in the area that they're buying, right? And then it's still another, week and a half before the house is even inspected, right? So it's very messy out there right now. The appraisers are really able to control this market a bit more, right? They're like, hey, you need an appraisal in time, we'll do it for this amount of money. We were seeing in like California, appraisals were costing like $2,500. Insanity, right? So that market's going up. So that being said, we need more appraisers, right? But it's tough to become an appraiser, right? I believe, and don't quote me on this, you can Google this, but you need a bachelor's degree. You'll need to be an apprentice. You have to do an apprenticeship for 2 years, right? So even if you want to become an appraiser right now, you got to have that degree, and then you got to find an appraisal company that you want to work with, and then you got to go learn about it for 2 years before you can really start jumping in and making money, right? This is very vague right now, but I understand those to be the rules, right? So we might have to, again, if we're talking about pendulums, we have to find the middle. My opinion is we need to figure out a way, an easier way for people that want to become appraisers, get into the system. All right, maybe it's at least a quicker way. I'm not saying let's make it too easy and flood it with people that maybe might not be qualified for this, but let's figure out a different way to get some more people, get some people more jobs. It's a great career choice, right? It can be very good money. You're meeting a lot of people. You're driving around. You're looking at different houses. It could be a really cool career, but it's very tough to get into, right? So my opinion is we need to have a lower ceiling to become an appraiser, but let's not just flood it with people that are unqualified. I hope you guys have a great day. If you need anything else, please make sure to give us a shout on the Hussey hotline, which is 484-353-6141. Later. Hussbus, bus stop.